Welcome everyone to the Mercy Queen podcast. I haven't done an episode in quite some time and I do apologize. Sometimes they say when it rains, it pours. But today the podcast is related to fitness, and being fit, a lot of times people are always kind of tailor it to physical fitness, that if you're physically fit, usually it somehow also kind of corresponds to your spiritual fitness, to your mental fitness. And so today's episode is to the core based on fitness. And I'm going to title it kind of The Silos That Bind. So I wanted to first of all just start talking a little bit about my kind of journey with fitness from being a young child to kind of now where I am in my mid-40s, or a little bit above my mid-40s. So growing up, my parents really worked long shifts that I mentioned in other podcasts. They would work sometimes 18 hours. My mom worked 40 hours in a government job. But as wonderful as my mother was, she would wake up every single morning before her shift, which started at 8, and she would cook at 5 o'clock after prayer, whether it was spaghetti and sauce, whether it was chicken curry, whether it was vegetables. And so when we came home, we always had home food. Growing up, I barely ate fast food. In fact, I never even had popcorn at the movie theaters, which may even sound cruel. I never had popcorn at the movie theaters until after I got married. It was like, oh my God, I get to have popcorn, because my mom was like, no, you're not eating that stuff. We did have sodas growing up, but not extensive, and we were allowed to have candy. But in short, despite being extremely busy as parents, they somehow made sure that we had home food, what I would call it. Keep in mind, we didn't really like vegetables, me and my brother growing up. I know sometimes in the American household, it's like, you separate your food. You have your greens, your cauliflower, your broccoli. You have to eat your vegetables. Our vegetables in Indian culture is like okra or like, different ways of making kind of vegetables that are sauteed with, onions and whatnot. So long story short, we usually had home food. We didn't eat fast food, and I grew up being very athletic. My mom took me to gymnastics. My mom took me to soccer. And I loved being athletic when I was a young kid. I used to run the mile at school. And I didn't have any weight issues. My brother didn't have any health issues as well. So as you kind of fast forwarded now into the college years, I ended up, unfortunately, during college years, having a lot of panic attacks, a lot of health issues that deteriorated my health to a point that I ended up having to take a lot of medications. And I took a lot of medications that basically altered my health. And the reason I'm sharing that is because imagine a girl entering college in 1996 who is about 135 pounds, and maybe 2 or 3 years after her marriage, she's about 240 pounds. 240 and 50. And believe me, it does have an effect on your psyche, because when you gain weight, and just in general, the way society is. Now keep in mind, in Arab communities back in the day, especially places like Mauritania, they like voluptuous women, they like full women. But as time has passed, they find it to also be a health conscious issue where a woman should not be overweight because of her health. And so even in communities sometimes, Samoan culture, women can also, Tongan culture, women can be more voluptuous, more curvy, and they don't mind. But in our American culture, it is very standard to kind of be compared to the Victoria's Secret models, or to have that elite, perfect body, right? And so the topic today is to kind of share with you guys some of the journeys that I had with my own health, and how, what it felt like, first of all, being 240 pounds. So being 240 pounds was really difficult, and because there's fat jokes involved in that. Sometimes you might go somewhere and you might take another piece of cheesecake because you just love cheesecake, and someone would be like, do you really need that? Or are you gonna make your kid fat too? So there's a lot of cruelty and judgment that comes behind being overweight, which is really unjustified and unkind and unfair. Having a health issue is an issue. And I think that to some extent, you have a problem. When you have a problem to the core, like obesity, or even if it's alcoholism or whatever addiction that you may have, the resolution is very different. And finding the solution for yourself is very different than being judgmental and calling someone out and saying, hey, this is a problem. Everyone can say, hey, you're fat, or hey, you drink too much, or hey, you're irresponsible, you don't go to work on time. Whatever it is that might be some of your issues, calling it out for someone is really simplified. but finding a resolution to make a proactive difference in the person's life, that's where coaching comes. But who better of a coach in life than yourself? Right now, we kind of buy into industries to have someone motivate us based on other people's standards. So for the next 6 months, what I am going to do is kind of make a fool out of myself, maybe, or even make myself look however you guys may perceive me to be, the queen or not the queen. But I'm going to journey. The Mercy Queen is going to journey, and she's going to share from July, starting today, her fitness journey for the next 6 months. And right now I weigh 176 pounds, and from 240 to 176. I just want to share with you guys, in all honesty, I didn't do much. A lot of people have seen me like, oh my God, you lost so much weight. I lost weight because of Ozempic. My doctor prescribed it for me. I'm diabetic, and I didn't do much changes. Ozempic naturally caused some of the weight fall and the appetite decrease without very much side effects for me. However, right now I'm trying to become more lean, and I want to be around 135 to 125 to 130 to 135, or at the max 140. So I got another 30 pounds to go. But going back and rewind to some of my journey about gaining weight. So imagine a young college student now, and she's at the prime of her life. She thinks the whole world is ahead of her. And maybe 5 years into her college experience, she's constantly like sick, and she's constantly, I'm gonna put my crown back on. She's constantly unwell, and she's constantly being pumped into all these medications that are altering her health. Imagine a young college girl having tremoring hands, and people saying, why are your hands tremoring? Or slurred speech, that she actually can speak well, but her speech is slurred because of medication diagnoses of just trying to explore medications. Imagine blurred vision. Imagine hair loss, and imagine weight gain. It takes a toll on your mind, your heart, and your body. So another thing that I kind of want to get at today is this concept of a silo. And I want to kind of credit this to my diabetic nutritionist right now. I do have diabetes, I'm type 2. Her name is Diane, and she sat me in her office, and she doesn't usually do for type 2 diabetes in-person appointments. She said something really brilliant. She said, Shabana, she goes, it's like having a silo. A silo is sometimes like where grain is held, or farm seeds or whatnot are kind of held in canisters. But a silo can also be a huge barrier, like a huge wall where you cannot see the other side, right? And if you look at a silo for your mental health, right? You have your silo, a huge wall for your mental health, and you have designated like, oh, I need to eat bad food because I'm not feeling well, and these cookies make me feel good. Or you look at the silo of your physical health, that you need to go out of bed maybe and walk because you've been in bed all day not showering, or maybe that you want to get fit and run a marathon, whatever that silo is. And if you look at the silo of your spiritual health, right? And spiritual, for those of you guys who may not practice religion at all, spiritual could just mean how your soul feels every day. Just because your physical silo may look awesome, it doesn't mean that you actually feel that your soul feels good. And just because your soul may feel good, it doesn't mean that really your mental is good. You could be a mental wreck. You might actually feel good, but you might be harming people. You might be not acting kind, but you actually feel good, but you're not emanating like a feel-good energy within yourself, but you're okay with just whatever you are. So silos, the self-silo, the silo of the self, right? When you talk about mercy and the silo that binds the self, right? Trying to kind of compartments different dynamics of your being, it has an issue, because in reality, the physical will always affect the mental. The mental will always affect what you would call the spiritual or the soul in you, right? If you even want to call it a soul, the passageway of the soul. So a silo built on one focus does not complete you. And the mastery of the self is the self-discovery with error, with self-acceptance and compassion with error, into breaking the walls, the silos, and having them emerge into the betterment of the self, with understanding that some of these things are very much more difficult than being said than done. So I wanted to kind of like show you guys kind of like, you know, what having like a mental zigzag might be like in the mind through my wonderful son's dinosaur. He went to Dinosaur Planet in Stockton or something. So he got these and put these on. If you look at kind of your psyche as like two dinosaurs, right? That are kind of like at each other, right? And you got the red dinosaur that's always promoting what you want, in fruition, right? I want to eat healthy. I want to eat salads. I want to go on walks. I want to be this amazing bodybuilder. I want to be fit. And you got the bad dinosaur that's like, I want chocolate. I want fast food. I like these French fries. I want ice cream. And they're always at each other, right? And they're like, okay, good dinosaur is like, no, but I need to lose weight. I need to look better. I feel fat. I look ugly. And you got the bad dinosaur that's like, okay, you're fat, but you're married with 10 kids. Who cares anymore, right? So they're battling each other. And the point of the story is to take the dinosaurs off. Take them off. Let them go and let them be put away, because you're a human being and I'm a human being, right? So going back to kind of my fitness journey. So now from like 135 pounds entering college, when I got married in 2001, I was about 160 to 70 pounds, which is what I am kind of right now. And then after marriage, I blew up to around 240 to sometimes even 260 with depression. So Ozempic was, for me, something that really, really did help me. And I'm not saying that I recommend it or promote it for anyone, but it is someone that did help me initiate a catalyst, a weight loss, and a lessened appetite with no side effects on 1 milligram. I started at a smaller milligram and I worked my way up. But I'm also right now trying to maybe get off my diabetes medications as well as Ozempic. That's the journey that I want to go on. And part of that journey that I want to take with all of you for the next 6 months is letting go of the dinosaurs and accepting my humanness. To accept the fact that there's going to be days where I might cheat and still have my fried food. And then for someone who's really fitness elite might be like, well, if you're going to cheat, then there's no success. Well, part of me sometimes wanting to take this journey in front of you and maybe do little snippet videos on my Instagram is to share with you that even if at the next 6 months I come out in this journey the same exact weight or even bigger, that's okay. It's totally okay to maybe on camera mess up. It's totally okay to make myself vulnerable to all of you and maybe share with you guys some of the secrets that I'm going to intend on doing. For those of you guys, I have friends who see me at a party. It's kind of funny, I had a friend whose father was really ill in the hospital, and she visited from India. And she saw me, she's like, oh my God, you lost so much weight. I'm like, let's focus on your dad, you know what I'm saying? But point being is that when people look externally different, it's like really it's like, oh my God, what did you do? So in telling you guys in short, like I said, I just took a little bit of a shot of Ozempic, but my goal is to eventually get off all my medications. But keep in mind that how you feel in here has nothing to do with necessarily how you look like out here, right? If you look at some of the women who have been more voluptuous, like Queen Latifah, or other actresses that are out there that are more full-figured, what's on the inside, it doesn't necessarily emanate from what's on the outside. You could be a really, really ugly human being and you could look really, really good on the outside, and you could have a really beautiful inside, but maybe you're not getting the respect that you deserve in society because you're not to the standard of society. And what I'm trying to get to all of you is the standards that we create, the journey that you go on for your fitness is all about you. It has nothing to do with your mom or your husband or your wife saying, hey, I think you need to shed weight. It's about you and who you want to be in your journey. So I wanted to also go back to just me being sick. A lot of the industrialized medications that are out there that exist, a lot of these medications have side effects, and there is a lot of homeopathic things that can kind of be altered in the measurement of trying to get away from some of these things. So once again, the silos that bind are things that can come down, but letting down those walls and merging into the secrets of the self are things that you have to journey alone. And so that's why I'm not going to have a physical trainer, but every little stupid video that I'll try to share with you guys or do with you guys, and at the end of 6 months, December 31st, I'll show you guys where I'm at in all transparency. So the first thing that I'm going to do real quick is just for today is I am going to share with you guys what I'm going to do. Another thing that I'm going to be doing every morning is, and maybe every night, is having a little bit of a swag of black seed oil. I put this apple cider vinegar, and I'm going to share some recipes that I have for you guys, like teas that I saw online with apple cider vinegar in the morning. So I'm going to have this, and I'm also going to be having colon broom to have better digestion. in the mornings. This is going to be fasting, colon broom, some apple cider vinegar. I'm going to try to kind of replace this eventually with Ozempic and see how it goes. Chia seeds. This black seed oil, so black seed oil in the Islamic tradition is really good to help with a lot of benefits to the soul, to the body. And black seed oil is something that was recommended by our Prophet, peace be upon him. But black seed oil has a lot of cures for a lot of ailments, even for kind of evil spirits, evil eyes, negative thinking. So I'm going to take a swag of this every morning. Just, you know, hands-on and show you guys what I'm doing. And before I sleep, it's kind of, it has like a black kind of strong seed taste to it. But I actually enjoy it. It's very strong, but I like it. And then, like I said, I'll be drinking a lot of water and the colon broom. And then, yeah, I'll be drinking these protein drinks. You can get any protein drink that you think is suitable. And I'm really going to just try to veer away from unhealthy drinks, except for maybe lemonade at a time. And I will have coffee. I do like coffee, 1 cup every single day. So if you like it black, I do like to have these biscottis. So this is going to be a little bit of my carb. That's just something that's like a treat to me. And sometimes I can just go on coffee all day. So keep in mind, for me, this journey is not just about trying to look prettier, because the other thing that I also really wanted to get at, which I almost forgot before I had my wonderful director look at me, is there's a big difference between beauty and fitness. And I want to kind of make the resolution too, because there's a lot of women or people out there who want to lose weight because they don't like their, you know, their love handles, or they want to look better, more, you know, obviously sexier or better for themselves, right? But keep in mind that health has to be separated from just necessarily the way you look. Obviously, when you look better, you feel better, and not necessarily separated, but keep in mind that your health journey, for me, and not for you, but my health journey is not necessarily about the way I look towards people. It's about how I feel in my body for myself. And the way I want to feel is, how am I able to do things? Am I able to climb a mountain without huffing and puffing? Am I able to go up the stairs if the elevator breaks without huffing and puffing? Do I feel sick in the day because I'm eating chocolate all day and sodas? Or do I feel healthy because I'm replacing it with avocados and cucumbers, right? And in how I feel, right, because I feel better, maybe one day again I can start praying more. For me, it's prayer. I can physically do things more. I can run after my kids, you know, run with him, play tag with him, and actually catch him, right? That would be phenomenal if I can catch my 7-year-old child. And then also how it relates to my mental, right? Now, obviously, when I'm hopefully feeling better spiritually and feeling better physically, hopefully my mental will clear up. Hopefully, I will not put value in the aesthetics of myself versus the actual transparency of who I am as a person, with, once again, self-awareness and self-compassion always being at the root of who I am, right? I'm always going to be self-aware. What can I do better? What could I have done better today? Who do I need to apologize to? And self-compassion. You know what? I done messed up. I messed up today. I did something mean. I did something bad. Let me ask myself to forgive myself, and also forgive others if they've harmed me. And that hopefully will remove the silos that kind of bind us and help me become a more whole person with imperfections until I pass from this world. So once again, the Mercy Queen is over and out. I believe the first thing about trying to journey into any kind of silo kind of removal of emergence is a lot of self-awareness and self-compassion. Now, self-awareness maybe means coming to terms with the fact that you're not going to be perfect, that in your journey you're going to make mistakes, but the mistakes and the awareness really comes from understanding why. Like, back in a time in my life, I used to really kind of not binge eat and purge, but I was constantly putting something in my mouth. I was done with the cookies, then I would go to the French fries. I was done with the French fries, then I would drink something. Like, it was just, then I would eat the chocolate. And, you know, sometimes my mom would come and just kind of smack my hand, even though I was an adult, and say, "What are you doing?" But I couldn't stop, because the awareness that kind of came to understanding is that I am filling a void. I kept on eating and eating and eating out of boredom to fill a void in my soul. And that's why the silos, you know, being kind of brought down, and understanding the soul and understanding the physical fitness and where it lies with your mental as well. So not being self-critical is, I think, the first key to the growth of health. And keep in mind, wealth, health is not just physical, right? The health of wealth, right? And the wealth of health. It's not just a physical thing where I'm fit, so I'm healthy. What if you're really, really fit to the external eye, but you're extremely depressed, right? The spiritual connection to the physical context, to the mental, they're all silos that need to be, like I said, demolished and brought down and identified. So the first thing that I'm going to do, so today is Tuesday, and on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Friday, I'm going to break the fast. But my father had given me these ajwa dates. These are from Medina. If you Google the history behind ajwa dates, there's beautiful stories about them in our tradition. So for the next 3 days, I'm only going to have water, warm tea without sugar, and dates until I try to finish the box. And I'm going to basically have, it's basically going to be like a detox. And I'm going to have milk and honey to sleep before I go to bed. So that's basically going to be a little bit of my sugar kick once a day. And if I want milk in the morning, but besides milk, water, and these ajwa dates for the next 3 days, I'm not going to have any meat. I'm not going to have anything else but these 3 things. And so I will show you guys what that felt like. And if I have moments of relapse, but that is the intention. So on Friday night, at the time of the evening prayer, I will continue to now start what I'm going to be eating on the average. And keep in mind, this is not a diet. So I'm not dieting. I'm not sacrificing anything. I'm just going to try to do what feels good. Because I will definitely say that not just with the complexities of sugars, but when I've actually started to eat healthy, I feel better. I feel more energetic. If I'm, for example, resorting to, so I have a little plate right here, and on the plate, there's mint, and there's cucumber, and there's oranges, lemon, and there's nuts, and there's plums, right? So I hate to say it, but with processed foods right now, like the concept of just earthy foods are gone. Like we're always kind of like, okay, let's go to this chip bag, but why not instead of a chip bag, kind of just try to have a walnut if you like nuts. And right now, even with the nuts, there's a lot of flavored nuts that are salty, that are just as, or there's healthier versions of like, popped, not sun pop, but like air popped things that are a lot healthier, that are options that aren't fried and aren't processed, because I do believe processed foods eventually do affect the kidneys and your health. And so even with fruit, so with something like a cucumber stick, right? It does take a little bit of pre-cutting, but let's just say you've got that mom who's kind of like, please lose weight, please take care of yourself. Well, maybe ask that mom to help you out, maybe cut some of these for you if she's a good friend of yours, your mom, or mom, you want me to do this? Cut some fruit for me, please. Because make it in your snacky bag. Because I'm being honest, for my son, my older son, I really, unfortunately, introduced him to a lot of the unhealthy fast food industry. And he likes those things a lot. And for my younger son, I'm trying not to repeat the same mistake. Instead of giving him cookies and chips for his school, I tend to give him carrot sticks and, cucumber with lemon, and he loves it. He loves cucumber and lemon. He eats the whole bag happily. And so another thing that my dad would tell me is that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I personally don't like apples, but an apple and peanut butter can actually be quite delicious. I love peanut butter. And these are just some little tricks that I'm going to be showing you guys that we already know. But if you don't like something, the odds of you eating it are very, very unrare. And that's what used to always kind of trip me up with my goals to lose weight, is that I would deprive myself of the things that I like. And then on top of depriving myself of the things that, I can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this. And then what I would do is I would gobble it all up, like in one day. I'd be like, okay, the dinosaur would come out. I don't know where my dinosaur is. My dinosaur's over there, but the dinosaur would come out and be like, okay, let's eat all this. And I would just go back on and gain the weight again. And then guess what happens? The failure mode. I feel like a failure. I failed, right? And the guilt comes in with the failure. And then it's this repetitive cycle of, I've got to be the red dinosaur. Where are my dinosaurs? Dinosaurs come. Right? Sorry, we're getting the dinosaurs. We must get them. So then you got this good dinosaur that's back at like, hey, I really want to achieve this goal. And you got, my friend doesn't like the dinosaur. She's nodding her head. But okay. And then you got this good dinosaur that just like, yes, I've got to, that has to kind of accept. So it's like, does the bar have to be set so high, right? That's kind of the question I want to ask all of us, is like, and so when we're talking about self-awareness as one, but then also self-compassion. And then when I say compassion, when you have the fitness elite being like, go, 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 you got to get it, you got to get it. If you want it, you're going to get it. Well, just because you want something really, really bad doesn't mean the journey has an absolute of perfection in it. I think the journey can have a little bit of wavering of waves that you journey through, but the main thing is to keep self-compassion aligned with self-awareness to a point where you can create your own terms for discipline. I used to hate when I would go to parties and my mom and my dad would sit there and they would just watch how many Cokes I'm drinking or how many pieces of cake I'm eating, right? I'm an adult, so if I want to eat my cake, if I want to have my sodas, but guess what? I have learned to find, I'm very deep, profound knowledge right here. I have actually found some things that are similar to sodas that I like. For example, all my life I used to kind of think that I used to just love sodas, I love sodas, right? And as I've gotten older now, like when you're in your 20s and you're chugging down sodas or beers or whatever you guys are chugging, right? It doesn't affect you. But when you're having sugary drinks, even if it's like a Shirley Temple, when you're in your 40s and 50s, it hits differently because then you really feel sick sometimes. So I once went to a friend's house to deliver some food to a sick friend, and her spouse came and gave me like a seltzer that was cold. And I was like, she's like, I'm sorry, I don't got soda. I was like, can you please give me a soda, right? And she gave me this, and I drank something like this, and I enjoyed it so much because it was cold, and it was the awareness that, hey, it's not really the sugar in the soda that I'm addicted to. It's, you know, the seltzer, the bubbliness of the soda, the carbonation, right? That's the proper word. So you couldn't say compartmentalization. So I really liked having this instead, or something like this when it's cold. And so I realized if this is warm, I can maybe drink a colder Coke or something colder of a soda. I can drink a colder soda, a not so cold soda. But this I really like when it's cold. So when you start realizing the awareness building of that, you can substitute things, you know, maybe have air popcorn. And these are all like health tricks that I'm going to go on slowly. But the reason I'm trying to share this is because part of the fitness journey is being good to your body, right? Being kind to your body. Being kind to your body doesn't mean trying to eat better things. Like I'm going to be having these protein shakes that you actually get at Costco as well. This is a coffee flavor. So I'm going to follow the macros of trying to have maybe 170 macros. So you try to have about 30 grams probably in each meal of protein, and 170 max. So I can usually do like maybe 90. So what if I had like one of these in the morning, another one at night, fruit and vegetables and nuts, mint. And in terms of water, let me just show you something, that water on. So if you take something like, I love the Simply Lemonade brand. So if I am going to cheat, I'm probably going to have a little bit of lemonade. But in terms of the Simply Lemonade brand, like this brand is Hydramate. It's a brand that sells, and this is a bottle that, so I really do want to drink. I don't know how much this actually is. I think it might be, how much is this? It's a gallon, yeah. So I like this because it basically has the time of day, like 8, so it says 8 a.m. ready, set, drink, and then by 10 a.m. you've got it. And then 12 p.m. keep drinking, 2 p.m. halfway there. If you fill this with ice and water, and once again, lemon, plums, mint, things that are on here, oranges, it becomes flavored water, it becomes delicious. And then if you have the time of day, that by 8 p.m. I've drinking this much. Now keep in mind, if this is kind of unaffordable for you to get for your family, make it out of this. This is a liter, just make the signs out of it yourself. Put a paper tape on it, take a lemonade, chug the lemonade. This is one of my favorite lemonade brands, Simply Lemonade. And just 8 a.m., 10, and you're done with your water. So I'm gonna be walking around with this bottle, which I'm gonna share with you guys live what I'm doing daily to show you guys if I'm doing it or not. I'm holding accountable. And then last but not least, in terms of exercise, have fun. I realize that I don't like walking on a treadmill. I do like doing weights, and I actually like to kind of dance. I like to kind of go to the gym and just when no one's there at 3 in the morning. I like to be in the wet sauna. Sometimes I do a lot of calisthenics in the wet sauna. So some of these things that I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm going to be showing you live. I like to swim because it should be fun, right? Part of the self-awareness and also acceptance and self-compassion is having fun in your day with your presence, right? Yourself. And that might sound kind of awkward, but just basically just going through your day and being kind to yourself and saying, hey, I'm worth the time to go on that walk. I'm worth the time to drink this much water and not be just drinking coffee and sodas all day. I'm worth the energy and the time to love myself enough to maybe cut something for myself and eat a good meal. So last but not least, I wanted to show you this. So this is Shabana's secret salmon. So this is something that I just saute with garlic and some herbs and spices. And we'll do an overhead shot. The lemon is going away, but the point is that this could be, and this is something that is very tasty. And I'm going to be honest with you, There are times when I'm going to eat this, that I'm going to eat it with rice. I'm going to eat it with salad. I'm going to have one, usually good protein meal. I can't do like 3 chickens a day. That's just not me for getting 170. But if I were to try to do 90 macros, for me, it would be like a protein drink, a salmon, and like another protein drink with a lot of fruits and vegetables. And so this is going to be the journey that I'm taking to kind of let the dinosaurs calm down. These dinosaurs need to calm down. They really need to calm down and go away, because you don't want to allow expectations to defeat you, and you don't want to self-sabotage yourself to tell everybody that, hey, I'm on a diet. And that's exactly why I'm doing this. Is I'm doing this live for the next 6 months, so that when I journey, if I lose weight, also keep in mind, and I succeed or I don't succeed, it is just a journey to share. And maybe the next 6 months as the Mercy Queen, I'll do another journey on something else with a different topic, maybe the soul, maybe the mental space of how to improve my mental health, reading more books. But I'm just being very vulnerable in front of all of you to share my humanness and to inspire everyone to just create your own journey, create your own message, create your own meaning. And not because I'm asking you to, but because you matter. And to understand your own value is probably one of the main essential blessings of being on this earth. So to that, I say over and out.
Loving can heal, loving can mend, just, and it's the only